All right, this is Mr. Levitter. I'm going to make a video on some Delta Math assignments. So I'm going to do a couple from each one, and I'll toggle my screen back and forth. So I'm going to share my Delta Math. My Delta Math will look different than yours because I'm a teacher, and so I have a little different little one. All right, these are the three. So I'm going to click on this one first. All right, and here's our first problem. Sorry, my throat's a little dry. Says find the slope of a line perpendicular to the line whose equation is this. So they just want us to find the slope. All right, I'm going to write that on my paper so that way when I toggle back and forth, I have it. It says find the slope of a line perpendicular to the line whose equation is. So they want me to make it, they want to find the slope of a line that's perpendicular. All right. All right, so here we go. I'm going to switch back over. Okay, so here's my problem. All right, so remember this is in standard form. So this is standard form. Standard form is when you have your X and your Y on the same side of the equal sign. All right, then you should have like a little number by itself. This is in standard form right here. All right, so you can see the X and Y are together and it's together on the same side. So this is in standard form. Most of the time, they want you to change this to slope-intercept form, which is Y equals mx plus b. This is called the slope. If I could spell slope-intercept form. Now, why is it called the slope-intercept form? Because there's the slope and here's the y-intercept. So that's why they call it the slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. The slope is the number in front of x, not x, just the number in front. The intercept, the y-intercept, is the number that's being added or subtracted to x. Now, we're only asked to find the slope. So once we convert this into here, we just look at what number's in front of x. But this one question says they want the perpendicular slope. So here we go. I'm going to do this one. All right, I got some different color pens to do this, so I'm going to put it right here. All right, so the first thing we do is we move x. So we're going to move x. So if this is a positive x, whenever we move a letter or number to the opposite side of the equal sign, and notice the word opposite side. So this is like you do the opposite sign. So if it's a plus x, you say minus x, minus x. Now, this becomes a zero pair. Zero pair means when you have the same thing, one's a plus, one's a minus, and it kind of cancels out. So this really cancels out. So all the thing you have left on this side, the equal sign, is a positive y. And you only have to put y, put the equal sign. Now, this here, you cannot take six x's or take an x away from a number. Think of this as money, and this is a letter. Can you take a letter x from $6? Well, hopefully you'd say no. So when you see this situation, you just write it out. Now, there's multiple ways you could write it out. You could write -6 minus x, or most people like to write the letter first because of the mx plus b. See how the x is first? And then they put the number. Now, we have in slope-intercept form. All we need to do is look at what the number is in front of x. And if you look, you're like, wait a minute, there is no number in front of this x. It's just a negative. But remember, every letter has a number in front of it. When we see the letter X, you have to ask yourself, how many X's do I see here? Well, I see one X. And if that X is a negative X, then technically I have a negative one X. So this answer here really is a negative one. That's the slope right there. It goes right there. All right. So if my slope is a negative one and I want perpendicular, that means I have to think rise over run. So I'm going to put a 1 underneath it. So anytime you have a whole number, like let's say 2, and you're wanting to use that slope to graph, you want to put a 1 underneath it because then this would be your rise. This here would be your run. So every time you see a whole number, put a 1 underneath it. All right, now perpendicular. perpendicular means that the lines are going in opposite directions. Okay, so two lines are perpendicular, or two equations are perpendicular. Their slopes are the opposite, all right? So it's opposite slopes or opposite signs. Boy, so they have opposite signs. So if one's a plus, then the other one will be a negative. If it's a negative, then it'll be a plus. All right. Another thing is we do the reciprocal. Here, the reciprocal means that you flip it. So if I have 2/3, then I do the reciprocal, it would be 3/2. All right. So this one, we want perpendicular. So you see the perpendicular, so it's -1/1. So we're going to take it, the fraction, and we're going to flip it. And when we do, it's going to be 1, -1. Now, technically, remember, I said you have opposite signs. So if this is a negative, we're going to change this to a positive. So my slope is really 1/1. But what is 1/1? It's +1. So this answer is +1. Hopefully we'll get another one that's a little better. All right, so I'm going to go back to my Okay, so I'm going to go here, and now I'm going to put in the perpendicular slope, which we said is 1. And so we're going to put that in there and hit that. Ta-da! So there it is. Let's try another one. All right, here's one. I'll write this one down. All right, I'm going to go back to my screen. Oh, I didn't read what it said. Let me go back to that. You got to read what they say. You can't just go. Find the slope of a line parallel. Ooh, nice. So we get to do when it's parallel. All right. All right. So the parallel lines, parallel slopes, see how these lines look the same? Their slopes are the same. So if this is 2/3, my new slope is going to be 2/3. Now remember, if it was perpendicular, oh my gosh, if it was perpendicular, we would flip it. But this is parallel. This looks like an H, but it's my pen doesn't. That's parallel lines. See how they look the same? So their slopes are the same. If you look here, this one's going in one direction, this is going another direction, so you flip them because they're going in opposite directions. All right, you just got to remember to change the sign on this one. Where this one, they could both stay positive or both stay negative. All right, so here we go. We're going to do the same thing we did up here. We're going to move x over. So we move x over, we'll subtract x since that's a positive. We're going to say minus x here, and we'll go this way. This becomes a zero pair. You bring down your 2y. Then remember, you can put your negative x, then -14. Now, this still has a number in front of it, so we have to get rid of that. So what's my variable? It's y. When I say variable, we're looking for the letter that we want by itself. And if you notice, this letter is by itself, and we want that variable by itself. So y is my variable. So I ask myself, what's being done to the variable? It's being multiplied by 2. So the opposite is divide everything by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. I mean, that's what that means. I mean, think about it. When you have a top number and a bottom number of a fraction, that equals 1. And since it's being multiplied by y, 1 times y is 1y. Now, this one's a fun one. You have to be careful. Remember, where we talked about it here. There really is a number in front of this x. It's a 1. So this is really a -1/2. So my fraction is a -1/2. And we can put the x right there. In this one, we have to still subtract because we don't have another one. 2 goes into 14 7 times. So here we go. This right here is my slope. Now, they want it parallel. The old slope is -1/2. That's this guy here. So this guy goes right here. They want to know what's the new slope. The new slope, since these two lines are the same, that means these two guys are going to be the same. So it'll be the same slope. So my slope is going to be a -1/2. So let's go back and all right, so we're going to put -1 divided by 2, which is 1/2, and it will hit submit. And there you go. All right, let me see if there's a different type. Oh, this is a good one. Let's do this one. And I think If I can find a parallel one very similar to this, then we'll go on after that. So let me write this problem down. Oh, I did not look this. I think it said parallel. Yeah, it was parallel. Okay, so here we go. We're going to move x over just like we've been doing. Every one of these, this is standard form. See how the x and y are together on the same side? So we're going to subtract 12x. This is a plus. This minus goes to this guy. It does not go here. It's always minus 2 plus 12. We never say 2 minus or 12 minus. All right, so this will be a minus 12x, 0 pair. Bring down my negative 2y. Now, put these together. Remember, you can put the 12 first. It doesn't matter. That's a positive 28 because you don't see a negative on it. So we'll put plus 28. Now, what's my variable? It's y. What's being done to y? It's being multiplied by negative 2. So the opposite is divide by negative 2. These, remember, 2 divided by 2 is 1. So 1 times y is 1y. 2 goes into 12 6 times, and there's a letter X on it. You have two negatives, so that makes it a positive. I'm just going to put a little plus sign so you can see it. Then we have a plus and a minus, so that's going to be a minus. 2 goes into 28 14 times. Now, you can take your calculator and say 28 divided by negative 2, and you're going to get this. Now, here is my slope. Now, I need to go double check, make sure it's asking. I know it's parallel, but let's see if it just says ask for the slope or if it asks something else. So I'm just going to check real quick, just to double check. It doesn't hurt. It says find the slope of a parallel line. Who's not okay? So they do want the parallel. So we know already my slope is a positive 6. So if these are the same, parallel lines are the same, then that means my answer is positive 6. So all I have to do is put 6 in here. Okay, and you can see there we got it right. Same way, nothing changes. All right, I'm gonna see if I can find one like this. So I'm gonna scroll through this and see if I can find one that's perpendicular. So bear with me if I find one that's parallel, perpendicular. Our rule is a big one too. Find a slope of a perpendicular. So I'm going to do this one, and then after I do this one, I'll go on to the next section. There's apparently 3 sections. Paper ready. All right, let's go back. And it does say perpendicular. I'm going to go ahead and say that, and we're wanting the slopes perpendicular. All right, so here we go. Okay, so here's the problem. All right, same thing. We're going to move the x over. Notice that this is in standard form. The x and y are together. This is the equal sign, so I'm going to move the x over first. So minus 6x, minus 6x. And this will be a 0 pair. Remember, plus 6x and minus 6x, it cancels out. Bring down, notice this is a negative, so bring down the negative 9y. Remember, we can't put these together, so we're just going to write them together. That's a positive 216 because there's no minus on it. Now we're going to divide everything by negative 9. Why? Because negative 9 is being multiplied by y. So we're going to divide everything by negative 9. Y equals, and then you're going to x, and this will be minus, remember 2 negatives, reduce it. And then you probably want to try to get a calculator, which getting a calculator here. Next, okay, 216. I'm checking to see if it goes into it evenly. So I'm taking 216 divided by 9. So all I'm doing is taking my calculator, do 216 divided by 9, hit equal, and we see it's 24. So it does come out even. So that's good. I better save this just in case. So we know this is 24. All right, here is my slope. Remember, we want it perpendicular. So it's funny that we have 2/3. It's a positive 2/3. So remember, we want the reciprocal. I mean, we want the perpendicular. See how they're going in opposite directions. So it's going to be opposite. That's a plus. That's a minus. And we're going to flip the fraction. So we're going to say 3 over 2. So this is my new perpendicular slope. All right. So we're going to go here. As soon as I find my cursor. And I'm going to put negative 3 over 2. There we go. All right, so I think we got that one. Let's go on to the next one. The next one is find the y-intercept for the equation in standard form. Okay, so this time they want us to find the y-intercept, all right? It's the same process. Everything's the same process. We want to get y by itself, and then the number that's not with the x is the one that we want. This is pretty easy. Probably only have to do a couple of these because it's the same thing over and over. So I'm going to do this one. This one's find the y-intercept. All right, so I'm just going to write this problem down. Like I said, we probably won't have to do because it's the exact same thing that we have been doing. Now they notice they switch the x and y. So we can switch them or back around. We can put x first if we want to, or y. But remember, every time we're trying to find these things, we want to move the x over first. So, okay, so let me go back to my paper. So here we go. Remember, we want to get y by itself. We want to put it in y equals mx plus b form. So the y has to be by itself. Here's my y, so leave this alone. And we're going to move x over again. So I'm going to add 4x to both sides. So this would be 4x plus 15. All right. And then notice how I did that. The 4x is here. That's a positive 15. Now, what's my variable? It's y. What's being done to y? It's being multiplied by negative 3. So the opposite of multiply by negative 3 is divide everything by negative 3. So y equals a negative. Notice it's a negative. So it's 4/3. So we'll say 4/3 x. And 3 goes into 15 5 times, and it's a negative because there's only one. You can put it in your calculator too. 15 divided by negative 3, and you should get negative 5. Now remember, the y-intercept is the number that's not on the x. This is my slope. Here's my y-intercept. So the y-intercept is always the number that's being added or subtracted to the x. This guy here is being subtracted to the x. So our answer here is negative 5. That's what I'm saying. Probably pretty easy here. I probably don't need to do a couple of these, and I'll probably do one more, and that's about it on this one. All right, so my answer here should be negative 5. And remember, it doesn't matter if it's in parallel, it doesn't matter if it's perpendicular. That's how they're just asking you to find the y-intercept in this situation. Okay, so you can see it's the same thing. We didn't do anything different. All right. We don't care about the x value. We only care about the y. See the one that's being added or subtracted. And what's that mean? It means my line is crossing the y-axis. See the y-axis here? So my line that this makes touches here. Now let me make sure you understand. Every equation that has an x with the exponent of 1, okay? So we call exponents in algebra called degrees. And so a degree is just a fancy word for exponent. So when the exponent on the x is a 1, all right, then it makes a straight line. It makes a line. It could be slanted, it could be up and down, it could be across, it could be either one. So whenever you see, like right here, see how the x doesn't have an exponent? Well, we know it has a 1 on it. It's like an invisible 1. The y has an exponent of visible 1. But whenever the x has a 1 on it, when the exponent's a 1, it's a straight line. If it was a 2, it would be a U shape, kind of like a smile. We call that a parabola. All right, let's do one more. Okay, so here's one. Let me see if I can find one where they change it up a little bit. Oh, let's just do this one. They're all the same thing, so let's do this one. All right, just stop sharing. Okay, so here's my new one here. Right here's the one I'm doing. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and just we're going to move X over to both sides. Bring down my 2y because this becomes a zero pair. I can do it this way, put 3x, that's a positive 10, so put plus 10. My 2 is being multiplied to y, so the opposite is divide everything by 2, and it's a positive 2. Notice I didn't put a y here, just the 2. That cancels out. It doesn't cancel out, makes 1, and 1 times y is y. Here is my slope right here, negative 3/2 x. And then 2 goes into 10 5 times. So there's my y-intercept, just like they wanted. See, it's the exact same thing. Nothing changes. All right, so let's go back here. You can see why I think this one's pretty easy. Really don't have much to do. All right, so there we go. I hit that. Oh, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Did I ask for slope? Oh, it says find the slope. I didn't read it. I was thinking y-intercept. So we did have the slope. Okay, so let me go back. So if you look, see what happens when you don't read? I just naturally assumed it was the y-intercept from the last one. Let me go back to unshare. So see the slope here, and I did have it right. The slope is negative 3 over 2. And so if you go to mine, I had negative 3 over 2. It's just I didn't pay attention to what it said. So be careful. Make sure you read like I just didn't and don't always assume. So make sure you're reading that it is slope or y-intercept. Okay, so on this one. I think we're still good though, because I think we still did the problem right. We just need to read. All right, so let's go to the next one. All right, let's go back here. All right, so let's go back. All right, now we're changing standard to slope intercept form. And this is what we've been doing. This is the exact same thing that we have been doing for all of it. Everything that we have been doing, we've been converting standard into slope intercept form and vice versa. So really, the first lesson has really covered everything. So I'm going to do probably a couple of these, but it's the same thing. So, and oh, I better read. Put this following equation of a line into slope intercept form. So you need to make sure you know the difference between slope intercept form and standard form. So slope intercept form is the y equals m. There's my slope plus my y-intercept. So make sure you know this. I'm going to share my screen since I just okay. So here we go. So make sure you know the slope intercept form. That's y equals mx plus b. So this is standard form. Again, we move the x over. Bring down my negative y. This is 2x. This is minus 2x. You can't see it because it's right there. It's kind of hidden. See the minus. So it's minus 2x plus 4. All right. This is in slope intercept form. Now, watch out. Whenever the y has a negative on it, see how this has a negative? You're really, and I'm going to show you the real math reason, how this works, and what most students and I do, in fact. Remember, this is really a 1y. So really, there's 1y here. See the negative 1? So then you would ask yourself, what's being done to y? It's being multiplied by negative 1. What's the opposite of multiply by negative 1? We divide everything by negative 1. And when we do this, it just changes the sign. Two negatives make a positive. You don't have to put the 1. In fact, it's not recommended. Two negatives make a positive. So this is just 2x because 1 goes into 2 times. And then this makes a negative. See how the negative here is? There's one negative, so it's 4. Now, technically, if you take this answer, and I'm going to rewrite it here so you can see it, you're really, whenever you see this format, you have the variable by itself, just change everything to its opposite. So instead of a negative, make it a positive. Instead of a negative, make this one a positive. Make that positive into a negative. And you see, look, they're exactly the same thing. Now, notice this. Please pay attention. Note this. Note it, okay? That when it is a positive, you don't change anything. It's only if the y is a negative, okay? So you don't do it on this. You only do it on when y equals a negative. See how the y is a negative here? We never have done it except when the y is a negative. So let's do one more just to make sure you see the pattern. I guess I better answer this, huh? Put the following equation in slope-intercept form. All right, so we got y equals 2x minus 4. That's what we got. So we hit that. Yes, and there it is. See, look, see how the y is, they put a -1 underneath it? Same thing. All right, let's do one more, and then I think we'll be good. We don't want to show solution. Okay, so here's the problem. I'm going to write it down, and then I'm going to switch it back over. This one's slope-intercept form again. So, all right, so we're going to stop sharing. Oh, there it goes. All right, so we're going to move x over first. Bring down my -3y. Put the -2x in first, then the -9. Then divide everything by -3. Then y equals 2/3 x plus 3. So here's my answer right here. Notice that when I moved this -3 over, it changed all the signs. So then my y, two negatives make a positive. So that's why that's positive. So we don't change anything anymore. Once you get the y by itself and it's positive, you're good. But if it's -y, you have to change all of it. All right. So this one is good. So we're going to write that on my screen. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen. So y equals, and you just hit 2 divided by 3. Make sure you click out of that because you want the x right here. Then plus 3, and then you can hit submit. And that's how you do it. All right. So they're all pretty much like that. I was trying to see if I see something fancy. There's just some of them are big numbers, but other than that, that's it. Okay. All right. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, come by and see me.